Hey guys, this is Billy with Geek Home Living, and I've been toying around with the idea of starting this channel for quite some time. I just want to review some of the tech and gadgets that I have around the house. Like I have my Blue Yeti microphone, the Amazon Echo. I also have the Echo Dot as well as the Show, the Nest thermostat and Protect, some of the Ring doorbells and cameras, Hue lights. So I have a lot of little gadgets that I like to review. But this video, I figured I'd start out with something fun and exciting I've been waiting on for a very long time, and that is the Jibo. If you guys don't know, Jibo is basically marketed, or was marketed, I guess, as the first family robot. This was some 3 years ago when it was first announced. I guess maybe it could still be considered the first family robot, although this was really in the early days of the Amazon Echo just starting to come out. And then since then, of course, we've had lots of other things like the Google Home device. Apple, of course, is working on their device that'll be out later this year. And Jibo's been a little late in getting to the market. Lots of delays. So I was in on the ground floor when this thing was first released as part of the Indiegogo pre-order campaign. So I originally ordered this back in July of 2014. I paid, I think it was $499 as part of the pre-order. The price was going to go up a little bit after that. I think I saw at one point they were showing some of the prices for like $750 or something around that. But I got it for $499. I don't remember what their goal was set to, but they blew that away. They actually ended up selling, I believe it was pre-ordered 4,800 units, and they made just over $2 million. So they exceeded their goals by quite a bit. Of course, they had some early concept videos. All of these early concept videos just looked really cool. You could tell, of course, that they were made by a professional studio. They were probably using simulated voices and everything in it, but it gave you a good idea of what kind of promise there would be, and that this really looked like a device that, you know, was going to be able to do a lot. And again, keep in mind, this was before we had the Amazon Echo or anything really out there. I think that so far I would say that the Echo is probably the one device more than any that has lived up to the promise of what it was supposed to be. This one, I don't know. We'll have to see what it's going to be like. Now, in the early demos outside of what was just a pre-made video, of course they did do the news circuits that they ran around. They did a lot of live in-person demos that were very controlled and staged, where they were just having it do a few things, asking it a few select questions. Of course, there was the dance that it would do on every demo, which was really annoying to see this so many times and watching these videos of it doing this little dance around, because it was just the same canned actions we were seeing over and over. Again, this is stuff that could be forgiven because it was obviously a very early model. They were still working on it, had a lot of more development to go, but it's still, you know, it was one of those things you could see. It had promise, and we were hopeful for, you know, what it could be. Everything seemed to be on track in 2014, getting into 2015. I know one of the things they said is that for all the pre-orders you would get the Jibo t-shirt, and of course, because they met their quotas, their goals that they were setting for themselves, they also decided to release the black version. So there's a white and a black version. So in 2015 they sent out the request just to say, hey, what type of, you know, what size t-shirt would you like and what color of the Jibo would you like. So I put in my order for that. I got my t-shirt. Again, everything seemed good. It was supposed to be coming out, I believe, sometime in September of 2015. And then, of course, it missed the date. Jibo did not come out when it was supposed to. That got pushed back by a few months. And then, of course, that next date didn't get met. And that just seemed to kind of start a series of just missing dates over and over again. Early on, of course, they were providing a lot of feedback, a lot of information. They had a lot of behind-the-scenes videos showing you what was going on, providing updates into their progress and the expected times of release. But as the years went by, it seemed like there was a little bit less and less communication. They weren't really telling us what was going on because I think they were losing track of what was really going on and how long this was going to take, and they just got to a point where they probably figured less news was better for them, because again, early on they were releasing these cool videos and showing you the potential release dates as they were approaching, and then they kept missing those dates. So I think they decided at some point it was just better not to say any potential dates rather than continue to miss those dates. Now, one of the dates that they had set was April of 2016, I believe, and by then they'd already missed a couple dates. And so I even had sent the support team an email and just said, hey, I was part of the early release group. This was back in, I'd say, March of 2016, and it was supposed to be out in April that year. It was the next release date. I hadn't heard anything, was just wondering, hey, what's going on? Is it still coming out? And I got no response to that. They did not reply back to my email, which gave me a little reason to worry. But then, of course, they continued to announce new dates from that point. At some point, they did also send out and say, that if you wanted to, you could cancel your order and get your money back. I think they probably just had a lot of people complaining because they had missed so many dates. Again, keep in mind, at this point, this was a product that was over a year past due, and it had been 2 years since the original marketing of it. So a lot of people were beginning to worry about would it ever be out. Now, in September of 2016, I did get another email saying that because they had all these problems, they were offering, again, you could choose to get a refund if you wanted, but they were also saying that if you wanted to be part of the pre-release version of it so that you could get this before anybody else and see what the product was going to be like. This was kind of a beta version is what it seemed like, because they were saying this was not going to be the final version that went to market, but you could still get an early copy of it if you wanted to. Or you could wait for that final version to come out once they worked out all the bugs. I said, you know what, I've waited so long, I'm kind of anxious to get this, so I put my name on the list to be part of that pre-order, pre-release version rather. And it was supposed to be, I think, a couple months after that. That time went by and nothing. Didn't get anything, so just kind of figured, well, obviously it's another date they've missed, and it was getting pushed back even further. Then I did, about a month or so ago, I got an email just to tell me that, hey, it's coming out again. Of course, didn't quite believe that. But then I would say probably about a week ago, I got an email letting me know that it had shipped. And this time it was real because I actually got a UPS tracking number. And with that tracking number, I've been watching it. It looks like it should arrive tomorrow. So I'm just kind of doing this in advance of getting Jibo. By the time you see this, I should have Jibo in hand probably. But today is Sunday, September 24th. I should be getting it tomorrow, Monday, the 25th of September 2017. This is a little over 3 years after originally ordering the device. So I'm kind of anxious to see what it's going to be like. Now, my initial thoughts here, before even having seen it, what do I think? Do I think it's going to live up to everything I had hoped in the beginning? Sadly, I don't think so. I think it's going to be a cool little device. It'll be something fun to play around with. I'm probably going to say my suspicion is it's going to be something along the lines of originally how Siri was, where it was a fun little toy to play with and ask it a few little silly questions, but there was really no utility, no use that you would get out of it. Now, of course, Apple's changed Siri, and it has gotten more useful as time has gone on. Amazon, as I said before, I think they're probably one of the better device makers as far as making a device that lived up to the promise that seemed to be there. Because I do use various versions of my Echoes every day, whether it be for setting timers for cooking, alarms, asking it just general questions, shopping lists. Again, we have smart home products, so turning on lights, changing the temperature, things like that. Now, something else that happened with just the evolution, of course, and it's one thing that gives me reason to doubt, that polished video that they came out with in the beginning had a really cute, kind of friendly voice. And then even the later demos that they did, which were very staged, again, that they were asking very specific questions on live news shows and things like that. and getting some pretty cool little responses aside from the little dance. But it had that same cute little voice that it had that just made it seem very friendly and approachable. Then of course we started seeing some of the real tech demos that they were doing and showing the progress of it. And early on it had that same voice, but then as it progressed it seemed to be that those were all just pre-recorded canned responses, and in order to get the real kind of simulated voice to answer kind of any question you would need it to do, much as you get with, say, Alexa, Siri, Cortana, Google Home, things like that, they needed to change the voice to make it able to do that. And the new voice sounds kind of weird and robotic, and just doesn't have that same personal connection. Normally that may not bother me so much, but this device was really marketed as that personal, friendly robot that was going to be kind of more of a weird, like, member of the family than just some device that you were talking to. So I think the change in the voice really does hurt them there. I'll be curious to see what the voice is really like when I get this, the real one tomorrow. But we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll be surprised, pleasantly surprised, and it will be everything and more that I'd hoped it would be. But I have a feeling it's going to be very limited. And even as the news releases went on, they started telling us more and more about it over time. There was even a few, and I wish I would have saved it. There was one email they sent a while back. This was probably well over a year ago, where they were sort of setting expectations and saying that this is a device that was a platform, and it was a work in progress, and that essentially saying you shouldn't expect too much from it, which seemed very strange that they were doing that. They were trying to set the expectations low so that I guess people wouldn't be so disappointed. So that got me a little worried. We'll have to see how it turns out, but I guess that's it for right now. Again, this is the first video for this channel. I hope to have a lot more. Definitely want to have that unboxing and then a full review of Jibo after I get it. But that's it for now. Thanks for watching, guys.